Cardinals Corner from Arizona Sports.
Cardinals Corner from Arizona Sports with Tyler Drake and Lauren Koval.
Bird Gang, welcome back for another edition of Cardinals Corner. I'm Tyler Drake. That's Lauren Koval. We're back in studio, and we are here to talk more Cardinals. But before we get into that, Lauren, how we doing?
I'm doing
Haven't seen you in a while.
I know. I've seen just basically you from here to here on a teeny computer screen for a little while now. We have seen each other out at training camp.
Yep.
I will admit, the people don't know that because we weren't on video.
Very quickly.
Yeah, very quickly. Bump into each other. Hi, how are you? Great, I got to go.
Go produce a show.
Yeah, and you have to go take photo, video, talk to everybody post-game, send me up the sound. Greatly appreciate it. So in that sense, it's been a while since we've been in the studio, but I'm doing well.
Yes. So, okay, before we go all the way into joint practice, takeaways, and game 2 of preseason and Buda Baker Top 100, what were your initial thoughts, or I guess just thoughts in general from that first preseason game? Because I know you weren't out there with me with Kellen. We knocked that one out on the field. Thanks a lot to Kellen for stepping in and being a pinch hitter. But biggest takeaways for you?
The rookies. Okay. I mean, to me, it's the obvious takeaway because it's the biggest question mark on this team, and it's what can we expect? Will Johnson just launching himself up in the air on that play alone? I was like, yeah, I'm sold. I'm sold. Let's see what he can do. But the rookie's performance overall was my biggest takeaway because you see Cody Simon get in there. You see him getting those first team reps. You see Will Johnson in there. He's getting those first team reps. It's always nice to see, Kyler Murray out there on the field for however long it was always going to be. It's just nice that he's actually getting some preseason action this year, especially with all the criticism that they got last year for not seeing that. So it felt a little bit like you turned on the game and Patrick Mahomes is there and Andy Reid's there and JG's there and Kyler's there. And you're like, wait a second, football's back. We're ready.
Yeah. Yep. Even though preseason is like the ultimate tease, I feel.
Oh, truly.
Because it's like, yes, everything's there. Doesn't count. No. Stats don't count. Doesn't really matter. It matters for the guys trying to make a roster spot, trying to prove their role. But
and you get like 5 minutes into the game and you're just like, right, it's preseason.
There it is. There's preseason. Okay. So yes, moving into joint practice, do you still think the starter should get another round of snaps for preseason game 2?
I do.
How much?
Maybe like a drive.
Okay.
Now, if it's a 3 and out, put him back out there again. But I'd say a drive, generally speaking. And I think after this second preseason game, I don't know if I need to see him anymore.
Yes, I would agree with you there. And I'm going to preface this before we get into what I'm reading about the joint practice. Before what I saw today is like, let's get at least one more series, maybe 2 in there. Love to see a touchdown drive actually all the way through, finish it off. And then after that, call it good. Do what the Chiefs did. Score that touchdown. All right, Mahomes, we don't need to see anything more from you.
As if we needed to see anything else from him.
True, but that's part of their ramp up. They play in the preseason every year, and you can't put it all on that, but maybe there's a correlation to success in getting some rust off during these exhibitions. But all right, joint practice. Sounds like it was a mixed bag. Darren Urban, Teo Mackey, a lot of guys out there. Sounds like Trey McBride stole the show from the offense. Didn't sound like a ton of Marvin. Not until late. So good job by Broncos D. Maybe a little more push the notion for the Cardinals O, but it also sounded like the O-line had a couple fits there early on against the D-line, which is Zach Allen. Shout out to him. He's getting paid again. I saw him and Kyler were talking a little bit, so that was cool to see. I don't really know how to fully... I feel like one side, there's a lot you could still show. 2, it's joint practice and some of the stuff we can't even see. 3rd, they're going to a preseason game. They're not going to show everything. They're not game planning for each other either. So a lot of grains of salt to take with that. But having a mixed bag in joint practice, that impact you any more on how many snaps starters should get?
No, because Jonathan Gannon came out at the beginning of this week and he spoke about joint practice basically being the closest thing that you have to a preseason game without playing in game a preseason game.
Yep.
And that joint practice, no, you're not prepping like matchups Against the Denver Broncos, you're more just going, here's what I want to see from my team, and here's what I want to execute. And it's also the opportunity to have a lot of physicality between people who aren't on your own team.
Yes.
Because right now, there's been a lot of, you're going up against your own guys. There's a level of familiarity. I mean, maybe not necessarily with this Cardinals team in the sense of, like, the DBs and the wide receivers, they don't really know each other all that well. Those are two young, new rooms, generally speaking. But you know what to expect out of them. You know what JG wants to see out of these guys. You know what Nick Rallis wants to see out of them. Mm-hmm. So to see a team that is also completely different from you in terms of style, the Denver Broncos do not run similar plays, styles, than the Arizona Cardinals. They're vastly different teams. Some things the Cardinals execute better, some things the Broncos execute better. Mm-hmm. And I think that going up against somebody who isn't your own guys on your own teams where you don't know what they're going to do is beneficial for you. Now, that being said, not having the best sort of joint practice with them, the offensive line not performing to the level that we want, okay. It's joint practice, you know?
It's tape to work off of.
Exactly. And like there's things then where you go, okay, great. This is not up against our own guys. So I know this is what we need to work on. I know this is where we falter. And that's what I think is important about joint practice. And then you can take those little tidbits about what you need to work on and improve them. And then go into this second preseason game and know that that's what you should focus on.
Yep. I like that. And yeah, and I think Gannon said it, I think last week or after the game, even about the Will Johnson DPI. And I was like, I want them to go right back to him just to see how they react. Like similar thing here, I feel is, all right, you got beat today. Come back tomorrow and show us something else, or come back in the game and show us something else, because they don't have 2 joint practices this year. But one other note, Will Johnson, couple of notifications about him, couple of pass breakups. Outside of that, though, secondary did not sound like it had a good day of work.
So takeaways are offensive line, some question marks for their performance. Early on. Smooth things out.
Yep.
Okay, good to hear. Marvin Harrison Jr.
Late in practice, did a couple things. Trey McBride did things throughout.
Yeah, well, Trey is like the least of my concerns on this. I'm like, great.
He is the steadiest Eddie of this team.
Yes.
By far.
Yes. And that,
him and Buddha.
My expectations are higher for him than nearly any other Cardinal on this team. And yet we sit here and I go, yeah, he met him. Like, I'm so not concerned.
And I jumped on a radio show the other day and they were talking to me about, can we expect these numbers from Marvin? It's like, yeah, I think he's going to get over 1,000. I think he could get 8 to 10 touchdowns. But there's also Trey McBride on this roster. Mm-hmm. Like, you still have got to give him his.
Yes.
He deserves a huge workload. So, yes, Marvin should take a big step forward. But you still got to remember that Trey McBride's on this roster. And I think we're seeing that through training camp, through joint practice. I mean, it's a continuation. It's just a continuation of what we saw last year.
I mean, the only other team that quickly comes to mind here that goes to a tight end 1 over a wide receiver 1 is the Raiders.
Chiefs.
Yeah, but the Chiefs...
They're kind of faltering there a little bit.
Yes, a little bit.
It's starting to not be so much that. But it was that for a while.
It was that. And it was that for a very long time, and they were successful in doing that. And the Cardinals are successful when they go to Trey McBride. But that also brings up the question mark of Marvin Harrison Jr. He is your wide receiver 1. You went out there and drafted him to be that. Now, if he's having... issues in joint practice, then that is something that I'm going to keep an eye on in preseason game 2 if he plays, if we can see him out there on the field, is just, okay, you bulked up. That's been the offseason topic of Marvin Harrison Jr. Look at him bulk up. And being there in person, it's a proven commodity.
Big difference.
He's a big dude. He's a lot wider, getting through a door frame. Okay.
Wider.
Yeah, he is. And because of that, I think that's sort of stolen the show in this preseason. And now it's, okay, now you're physically ready to do it. Get out there on the field and actually do it.
Yeah. Yep. Speaking of people getting on the field and actually doing it, this game. Might not be Marvin, might not be starters. Who's somebody that you're really watching against Denver to really help their stock, either making the roster or improving their role?
I'm interested in if we will see any or how the offensive line will sort of shift and change now that Will Hernandez is back with the team. Because Will's not going to start. It's going to be Isaiah Adams in that role.
For now.
At
least. Or Evan Brown even too, though.
Yes.
It's both spots he is, I think how he said it best, and not to cut you off.
Yeah, go.
His quote about, it's up to me to decide how much I'm going to play. And he's like, it's calming to me because I know what I can bring to the table. Like, film doesn't lie. And it's nothing against those two guys. It's more about what Will believes in himself. So, that's what you want.
And Jonathan Gannon came out at the end of training camp on the Burns and Gambo show and said his star of training camp is Isaiah Adams.
Easily.
That's who he thinks has secured that role. So then you go out there and you get Will. Now, Will, like you said, can be that Evan Brown type of role as well. So if you're both of them, one of the rare positions on this Cardinals roster where there's pressure because a guy is right behind you and he is ready to take your role. You're actively fighting for this. As
soon as he comes off the pup list, it's game on.
And then it's, okay, fine, there's 3 guys and you've got 2 slots. Go for it. Yep. It's one of the rare positions on this Cardinals team that we actually talk about that isn't locked down, where there's a guy who you go, yeah, if you go down, this is who's taking your slot.
And probably not giving it back.
No. Yeah. And that's the thing. Yep. And you already know that Will can do exactly what you need him to do because you watched him do it last year before he got hurt.
Yeah. And multiple people, and myself included, like, he was probably their most consistent lineman until he went down last year. Like that. It was a really good start to the season for him. And that was a tough loss, not only just because the Mauler mentality he brings, but just the locker room presence he was. And not saying he wasn't a locker room presence when he was hurt, but that definitely takes a little bit of the luster away.
Yeah, and that the ability to now shift positions and where people play on the offensive line is something I'll be paying attention to in that preseason game. And somebody else who we've sat here and talked about for a while, but haven't actually said anything, I don't want to say all that positive, but something that we felt like that was a game-changing play is BJ Ojulari.
I'm a little concerned about BJ.
Yeah.
Still not. I'm a little concerned about Walter Nolan III too.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Not seeing any of these guys practice still is a problem.
And it sounds like being out there at camp that Nolan's not going to be ready for week 1.
Gannon today said that he's progressing where he needs to be progressing. Very middle
a lot
of the road.
Clarity, JG.
Yeah, not much of an update. He said he didn't want to call it. He didn't want to say he hasn't had a setback, but he hasn't had a setback.
And if he hasn't had a setback, but he's still not out there getting these reps, that means he's not going to be ready.
I just don't. I think they're going to slow roll. Even if he did check the boxes, I think they're not going to risk calf injury, like extending what it could be. Like,
because you can't have a Darius Robinson situation.
If you're missing 4 games to start the year, so be it. At least you can come back.
And especially with this schedule. If you're going to miss 4 games, miss them at the beginning of the year.
When
the schedule's a little lighter.
Yep.
The Cardinals are favored in 4 of their first 5 games this season.
And and with BJ, I just hope from a personal standpoint the guy can come back, because it's just, he was right there as a potential starter for this team, and training camp ACL tear just wrecked it. And not seeing him back out there still on the pup. That's one of those things that I've been watching. And then when you watch guys like Jordan Burch and Xavier Thomas take that next step, the room's starting to kind of move away from him. And hopefully he can get back out there and do some things, because he does bring a lot to this team. But Thomas and Burch have another good preseason game. Look out. I think that rotation's almost solidified there. Because
part of the reason that we spent so much time talking about BJ Ojulari last season was because he was in a room in a positional battle where they needed him. The Cardinals had no depth there. So it was, okay, how quickly can you get back out on the field? How quickly can we see you? We've seen, these little short, little bursts from him where he's looked phenomenal. So now let's make it happen. And we're still sitting here yet to see that. And I think that same argument can almost be made for Walter Nolan, in the sense of when you watch his play tape in college, he's very short sprints, go after it and attack you right away. Like, he's out of his stance in seconds going after you. So if for any reason you have a hang up with your calf, you can't be as short and sprinty as he wants to be.
Yeah. Looking at cornerbacks room, our guy Elijah Jones is on the bubble, in my opinion.
Yeah.
glad he came back from that injury yesterday in the game, because I think that would have been a tough one to follow up with. But it's not so much about him. It's more about Darren Hall making interceptions. He's again, like preseason every year. I feel like this guy is doing something to earn a spot on this roster. So yeah, Elijah Jones is a guy that, we've got to see what he can do this week. And if Darren Hall keeps doing his thing, or another guy, rookie Keaton Crawford out of after the safety rooms, Joey Blount could be fighting for a roster spot, which is crazy to say because he's a special teams ace. But if Keaton Crawford is as good as a lot of people say on special teams and can show off his ball skills as a defender, I mean, you're going to want the guys that are making plays on your roster. And
this is going to be one of the rare 53-man cutdowns where I feel like we're not exactly sure where the Cardinals are going to go. There's always, I know you do your predictions and that's out now.
Just did one. Yep. It'll get some tweaks after each week because I'm doing a little bit different than I have in past years where I just did just one and go with it. But yeah, we're going through each game. And yeah, I mean, those are some of the guys that I just mentioned. Those are some of the dudes that I'm watching on the bubble. But yeah, keep going. Sorry.
No, you're all good. Anytime to prop you up, Tyler, I'm going to take it. Okay. I'm going to take it.
Okay.
But your 53-man roster projection, I mean, as we update it and as we go through these preseason games, I feel like there's never a name necessarily on the Cardinals cutdowns where you're like, ooh, you? Like, that surprises me. Like every projection, you're like maybe one name off, you know, just like generally speaking, maybe as you do these, you're one name off, maybe two, who knows? But this year, there's going to be cutdowns on this 53-man that will be surprising. And also, normally, when the Cardinals cut down to 53, you don't see anybody go out there and pick up whoever they cut down because there's not enough competition.
Bingo.
And this year, you will see that.
Yeah.
People will come off of this roster and other teams will go, ooh, great. You?
And
I
be
want
a
you.
meaningful contributor to that team, potentially.
Yes.
Like we just talked about, if Joey Blount isn't on this roster, someone's going to pick him up for his special teams abilities. I think that's a given, in my opinion.
I mean, it could be the Minnesota Vikings after Rondale Moore. God, we got to bring that up because he has not played since the end of the 2023 season. He's had back-to-back knee injuries, started with a right knee injury in Atlanta last year that kept him out the whole year. And then this year, it's preseason with the Vikings, and it's your other knee. It's a left knee injury this year for him.
Yep. Just terrible. Just terrible. You hate to see it for guys, especially guys that we've covered too. Like he was always a good dude. So just hope he can recover and get back and actually stay healthy. Because I think that's the thing now is, can he actually get back and do it again?
And you always know with the one knee, I feel like you go, okay, but
when it starts,
put something fake in your knee, shoot your knee up, and you can get through a season. But when you start to see that shift between, okay, now I'm focusing on the right side of my body, now I need to focus on the left side. There's a bit of concern of overexertion there. Yeah.
Inside linebackers room, I would like to see Cody Simon get a little more higher end reps, a little more time working that defense. Because I thought in the back end of last game, you could see he got a good command there. So let's see it a little more crunch time, I think, in my opinion.
And we saw that out at training camp. I mean, he was out there with first team reps, I think, sooner than
real
either
early,
of
like
us.
First day. But then he kind of petered off there at the back end. But they did give him looks early on. And
I think part of that was because then you just saw what he could do. You went, okay, I don't need to see any more from you. You've taken early first team reps. You've impressed. Here you go. Now let's see them use that as close to a real game time situation as we can get.
What do you think about Justin Jones, PJ Mustipher, and Elijah Simmons out of those three? Because I have a feeling that a roster spot could come down to one of those guys in the D-line room.
I imagine it will. And
that's if Justin Jones doesn't go on IR or whatever because he's dealing with a knee injury. He's still battling the same knee injury battling a knee injury. No, he had a tricep last year.
Yes.
But yeah, just very interesting there because in my opinion, it's Elijah or PJ.
Yeah, it's Simmons.
And Gannon has talked about PJ. I think it was a quick quote, but was like, the guy's in there at 4th of July on a Friday wearing weighted vest and doing farmer carries and all this other stuff. And he's like, typically hard work pays off. And it's those little tiny couple of words there.
JG-isms right there.
Typically hard. And it was like one of those pauses. And then somebody was kind of starting to ask a question. He dropped that in there. So I don't know. I have him right now. I have him making the roster, but Elijah Simmons is right there. Justin Jones, if he's healthy, is the other guy in there too. So, I mean, it's really coming down to those three guys because still haven't seen Bilal Nichols either. He's on the PUP list still too.
No, guys that came down that Monty had dealt for and had decided to sign last year when he saw depth issues.
Bigger financial, like Justin Jones was the biggest financial commitment last year.
Yeah. And also 2 guys who don't get hurt.
Exactly. Like the availability bucket they had, it was full. It was overflowing.
Yes.
And then it just got dumped out here.
Literally.
And it evaporated.
And stomped on. And now we might not ever see them play.
Which is crazy. Because, yeah, there is a world where they both just are no longer here. Mm-hmm. Dead money or not.
Where we just don't talk about them, don't see what they're able to do. I'm leaning a little bit towards, in that battle, by the way, Simmons. Yeah. Just from I would
love to see Simmons make the roster. I think PJ just got the slight edge, but I would love to see Elijah Simmons make it just because the dude seems like his head's down 24/7 and he's just a monster. When you said wide about Marvin, like we're out of the frame for Elijah in a good way. Like the dude just moves and he's got some of the frostiest pipes on the team.
True. I called you up during training camp and I'm like, what is happening with this sound?
What do you mean singing? Yeah, Elijah Simmons, he's got really good pipes.
I really thought it was incorrect that I had to text you and go, are you talking about Elijah Simmons singing? And you're like, yes, absolutely. That's what I'm talking about. But to me, Simmons seems like almost the kind of guy that you like draft late in your fantasy draft and just hope that like
1 week
he pops and you're like, yes, there's this breakout,
maybe somebody should add like an undrafted rookie slot, defense, offense, just do it. That'd be fun. That'd be fun. I might have to look at that.
Okay.
I got a draft coming in a couple of weeks. I might have to change some things up. See if the league wants to do it.
That'd be fun, though. I think you've got the upper hand there in that draft. But Simmons seems like the kind of guy where if he can get that roster spot, you're going to be keeping an eye on if he can be the breakout kind of caliber guy.
Definitely. All right. Let's end today's show on a good note. Budda Baker, number 34 on NFL Top 100. Huge jump from 89 last year.
Well-deserved jump.
Well-deserved. Should have, I think he's inside top 25, but that's just me. 34 is a good number, I think, though. I was getting worried he might have got snubbed this year.
Oh, were you?
A little bit, because it was getting down after 89 last year. I know he had a great career year last year, but still, I don't think he was getting the respect that he probably should have.
No, he definitely wasn't. And I think that when you also look at those lists, you always see guys on like high performing teams, like high caliber teams, like, oh, we won the Super Bowl recently. Okay. Or, we exceeded expectations, or, there's 20 Detroit Lions on there because everybody's really excited about them. So I wasn't worried that Budda wasn't going to make the list, but that kind of jump feels like finally you're putting some respect on the Arizona Cardinals.
Exactly. All right. Well, that'll do it for us. Thanks again for stopping by. I guess I should thank myself.
You should thank yourself
for stopping by.
I've been here.
Really good to see you again. Hopefully we can do this again soon.
How about 1 week's time?
Okay. Sounds good to me. Mm-hmm. All right. You heard it there. Be sure to follow the show. AZ Cards Corner. You can follow me at TDrake for Sports. You can follow Lauren at Colville_Lauren. And yes, be sure to follow all the Cardinals coverage, ArizonaSports.com, the Arizona Sports app, and 98.7. We'll see you next week. Get through this game in Denver. And then we're that much closer to the regular season.
I know. I can taste it.
We'll see you then.